Good morning everyone. Welcome back to the another session of this molecular basis of inheritance. Today we are going to learn about the transcription in prokaryotes. So we are going to take an example of what? Bacteria. So as we know that there are three types of RNA, that is mRNA, tRNA and the rRNA. So and the transcription of all these types of RNA is catalyzed by a single RNA that is called as RNA polymerase. So there are three major stages in the process of transcription, that is, as we know that, right, that is the initiation, elongation and the termination, right. So there are the three steps which is followed by the transcription, that is initiation, elongation and the termination. So what are the three stages in which is involved in the process of transcription? That is initiation, elongation and the termination. So now let us see what are these steps all about. So the transcription which will occurs in the cytoplasmic region. So all the process of transcription which will occur in the cytoplasm region, right. Now you can see this diagram carefully. So when the RNA polymerase attached to the promoter gene, you can see this RNA polymerase attached to the promoter gene, as I told, it is attached to the promoter gene, it is separates the two strands of DNA, providing the strand which act as a template for the synthesis of the RNA molecule. And this steps which is known as what? Initiation. And this step is known as what? Initiation. Right. So as I said, in this initiated by a DNA that is dependent, that's DNA dependent RNA polymerase enzyme. What they will do? This RNA polymerase enzyme which will binds to the promoter region, that will binds the promoter region and it will initiate the transcription. It is called as what? Initiation. That process we call as what? Initiation. So the process of initiation which is also initiated by a factor called as initiation factor, or which is also called as sigma factor. So as I told, so in this initiation step, that is DNA dependent RNA polymerase enzyme, so which is bind to the promoter gene and it will initiate the transcription process. And this initiation, it is initiated by the factor called as initiation factor, or which is also called as sigma factor. So hope you understand the first step of initiation. Right, moving on to the next step, we will see what will happen. So this RNA polymerase once get bound to the promoter, once they get bind to the promoter, what will happen? So the region, it will start synthesizing the RNA transcripts in the 5-strand 3-strand manner. You can see the 5-strand 3-strand manner. So in the 5-strand 3-strand direction, by adding the nucleotides which are complementary to the sequence which is present on the template strand. Understood? So with the only difference, that is what? So that is instead of the thiamine, that is uracil is present. So this is you can see this is your RNA transcriptase going in the direction of 5-strand and the 3-strand end with the sequence which is complementary to the template strand. So and the whole process or the steps which is known as what? Elongation. And this whole step which is known as what? Elongation. I'll repeat what is this next step. So as I told, this RNA polymerase, once it is get bind to the promoter region, it will start synthesizing the RNA transcriptase. It will synthesize the RNA transcriptase in the 5-strand 3-strand direction, which is by adding the nucleotide which is complementary to the sequence which is present to the template strand, which is known as what? That process we known as what? Elongation. So what is this process? The elongation, in this elongation process, it uses the ribonucleoside triphosphate. So it will uses the ribonucleotide triphosphate which is added to elongate the chain. That is this ribonucleoside triphosphate which helps to elongate the chain so that the RNA polymerase is moves along the transcriptional unit, and which will causes what? So which will causes unwinding and also the opening of the helix and will continues the elongation. It will continues the elongation of the RNA. So here you can see in this picture the sigma factor of the RNA polymerase which will separates after the initiation of the RNA, and the remaining part of the RNA polymerase, that is the RNA polymerase without the sigma factor, which is called as core enzyme, which will move along with the DNA template, and it will helps in the, you can see it will move along the DNA template and which will helps in the elongation of what? That is elongation of the RNA chain, right? So next, then the when the RNA polymerase reduces, when the RNA polymerase reaches the terminator region. So you can see here this when it is reaches the terminator region, the elongation of RNA stops and the newly formed RNA fall off, and also the enzyme, that is when the RNA polymerase, you can see this, when the RNA polymerase reach the termination region, it will detach from the RNA transcript. Then the RNA transcript is released from the RNA polymerase, forming the hairpin like structure, and this step is called as what? Termination. And this step is called as what? Termination. So and this step is called as what? Termination, right? A factor called as RHO factor. RHO factor is required for the termination of this what? RNA chain. So what will happen in the last time? So when the RNA polymerase reaches the terminator region, the elongation of the RNA stops and they will form a newly formed RNA will be fall off, and also the enzyme, that is when the RNA polymerase reaches that polymerase chain, that is termination region, the transcript RNA transcripts is released from the RNA polymerase, forming the hairpin like structure, and that step which is called as what? Termination, right? So for the termination, termination factor is required is required. This RNA polymerase is actually catalyze the one step of transcription, and that is elongation. But due to the presence of the DNA sequence called as initiator factor and the sigma factor and the terminator factor called as RHO factor, the RNA polymerase also carries the initiation and the termination steps for transcription process. So this is how the transcription is done in prokaryotes, right? So hope you got to understand what is the transcription it is done in the prokaryotes. They will be going with the 3-step initiation, elongation and the termination. Now moving on to the next is transcription in eukaryotes. So next is transcription is eukaryotes. So unlike the prokaryotes in which a single RNA polymerase transcribes the that is 3 different RNA, that is mRNA, tRNA and the rRNA. So in eukaryotes, 3 different RNA polymerase are responsible for the transcription of these 3 different RNA. So this that RNA polymerase 1, which is located in the nucleolus, transcribes the rRNAs which includes which will includes what? 28S and 18S and also 5.8S. So the as I told, the transcription that RNA polymerase are responsible for the transcription of these 3 different RNA. So there are 3 different RNA which will help, which will responsible for the transcription. That is one, the RNA polymerase 1, which is located in the nucleolus, which will transcribe the rRNAs, which includes 28S, 18S and 5' rRNA. Right, rRNAs. And the RNA polymerase 3, which is located in the nucleases, transcribe the tRNA, 5sRNA, tRNA, 5sRNA, 5sRNA and snRNA. snRNA is the small nuclear RNA, so which is also known as sRNA. Right. So this RNA polymerase 3, which is located in the nucleus, which will transcribe the tRNA, sRNA and the snRNA. So third one is the RNA polymerase 2, which is located in the nucleus, which are responsible for the transcription of protein coding RNAs, which is also called as premerase RNA. Right, which is also called as premerase RNA, and hence RNA polymerase 2 are the enzyme which will responsible for the transcription transcription process in the eukaryote. So what are the three stages which is involved in the transcription? That is the initiation, elongation and the termination. So there are the three steps which is followed in the transcription: initiation, elongation and the termination. So in prokaryote, the RNA polymer has the ability to bind itself for the promoter gene, that is promoter gene on its own, and it will initiate the process of the transcription. Whereas in the eukaryotes, several protein called as transcription factor, the first will bind to the promoter gene. You can see that it will first bind to the promoter gene, which will bind to the promoter region, and then which will help in the recruitment of RNA polymerase to the promoter to initiate the process of transcription. So this is the it is a stranded DNA molecule which will consist of what? Promoter gene, and the promoter which consists of primary element called as TAT. You can see TAT. So which will consist of TAT, which are actually a DNA sequence which is rich in the adenine and the thymine. So which is rich in the adenine and the thymine bases. So this TATA box which will binds to the transcription factor which is known as TF2D. So which is binds to the transcription factor which is known as TF2D. So the TF2D transcription factor which will binds to the promoter region which will contain the TATE box. So Tata box with the subunit called as TBP, which consists of subunits which is called as TBP, which stand for Tata binding protein. TAB which stands for Tata, that is TATA binding protein. So this that is TB2D transcription factor, which you can see this TB that is TF2D, which will that is transcription factor which will attach to this Tata box of the promoter region with the subunits of TBP. So the Tata box protein or the TBP binds to another transcription factor, that is TF2B, which will binds to the another transcription factor, that is TF2B. So this TF2B is responsible for the recruitment of RNA polymerase in the entire complex. So it will help, it is responsible for the recruitment of RNA polymerase in the entire complex. So once the RNA polymerase get attached to the entire complex, it gets associated with the two more transcription factor, that is called as TF2E and the TFH. So which will responsible for the another two more transcription factor, that is TF2E and TF2H. right? So this whole complex, which is known as pre-initiation what complex. So this 2F2H is responsible for this 2TF2H, which is responsible for unwinding the double helical structure of the DNA, providing the single stranded RNA template, which will provide the single stranded DNA template. So from which the genetic information will be copied to form the what RNA molecule. So this is how the initiation of transcription of eukaryote is completed. So I'll repeat. The transcription, which was involved the three stages, that is initiation, elongation and the termination. So as we know that in prokaryotes, the RNA polymer has the ability to bind itself for the promoter region. So on its own and it also initiate the process of transcription. Whereas in the eukaryotes, there are several protein called as transcription factor. What they will do, they will first bind to the promoter region and it will helps to recruitment the RNA polymerase to promote, to initiate the process of transcription. So this is the what? It is the stranded DNA molecule, which will consist of what? Promoter region, that is promoter region. So the promoter consists of a primary element, which is called as TATF, the starter box, which is actually what? DNA sequence, which is rich in what? Adenine and the thymine. That is, it is a basis. So this starter box, which will binds to a transcription factor known as 2FD. It is a 2FD. It is a translation factor. So this the 2F2D transcription factor, which will bind to the promoter region containing the starter box with its subunit called as TBP. So TBP stands for what? Tartar binding protein. So this your TF2B transcription factor, which will attach to the tartar box of the promoter region with its subunit called as TBP. So this tartar bind protein or the TBP binds to another what? Another transcription factor, that is 2F2B. Sorry, TF2B. So this TF2B, which is responsible for what? Which is responsible for the requirement of the RNA polymerase to the entire complex. So once the RNA polymerase gets attached to the entire complex, it gets associated with the two more transcription factor called as 2FE and 2FH. So in this whole complex, which is known as what? Initiation complex. So this 2FH, this TF2H is responsible for the unwinding the double helical structure of the DNA, which will provide the single stranded DNA template. So from which the genetic information will be copied to form the RNA molecule. So this is how the initiation of transcription, which is done, which is completed in the eukaryotes. Now moving on to the elongation. You can see here on diagram here. So this RNA polymerase, so you can see here the RNA polymerase present in the pre-initiation complex starts synthesizing the RNA transcript in the 5'3' direction, that is 5'3' direction. So after the synthesizing of around 25 nucleosides in the RNA, you can see this, after synthesizing of 25 nucleotides in the RNA, the 5' end of RNA transcripts get modified where the addition of methylguanine template, that is methylguanine triphosphate by an enzyme called as methyl transcriptase. So this step, which is known as what? Capping. So this step, which is known as what? Capping. I repeat. So the RNA polymerase present in the pre-initiation complex will start synthesizing the RNA transcript in 5' and the 3' direction. Understood? So after synthesizing of the around 25 nucleotides, so nucleotides in the RNA, in the 5' end of the RNA transcript, which will get modified, where the addition of methyl guanine triphosphate by an enzyme called as methyl transferase. So this steps which is known as what? Capping. So and then the formation of capping at the 5' end of the RNA transcripts and protects the RNA transcripts from the activating by the activity of 5' hexonuclease. So once this RNA reaches the terminator region, a sequence called as what? AAUAA, which is also known as termination region, that is termination signal or the polyadenylation signal, is recognized by the specific endonuclease and an enzyme called as CPSF. So which stands for cleavage and polyadenylation, that is cleavage polyadenylation specificity factor, which will cleave their RNA, which will cleave the RNA transcripts from the RNA polymerase. After the cleavage, what will happen? After the cleavage, the mRNA, the 3' end of the pre-mRNA, which will get modified by addition of what? 200 to 300 polyadenylate residue by an enzyme known as so here after the cleavage, the pre-mRNA, that the pre-mRNA at the 3' end of this pre-mRNA, which will get modified by the addition of what? 200 to 300 polyadenylate residue by enzyme known as polyadenylation polymerase, and thus modification at the 3' end leads to the formation of poly-A tail. You can see this. It leads to the formation of poly-A tail, that is poly-A tail at the 3' end. So, and this poly-A tail protects the premier RNA, protects from the degradation and helps in the translation process in which an mRNA forms a protein molecule. So, after the capping and the formation of poly-A tail, which is known as tailing process, one more modification which is occur in the premier RNA, which is known as what? Splicing. So the phenomenon of RNA splicing was traced out by a person called as Robert Sharp, and he awarded for this RNA splicing, he awarded the Nobel Prize. So in splicing, what will happen? I repeat, please note to that, it is very important. So as I told, after the cleavage, cleavage, the pre-mRNA which at the 3' end, that is the pre-mRNA which will get modified by the addition of 200 to 300 adenylate residue by an enzyme known as polyadenylate polymerase, and this modification at the 3' and it will lead to the poly-A tail formation. So it will lead to the formation of poly-A tail at the 3' end. So and this poly-A tail, what they will do, this poly-A tail which will protect the premier RNA and also protects from the degradation, and which will helps in the translation process in which the mRNA forms the protein molecule. So after the capping, the formation of poly-A tail, which is known as the tailing process. So one more, you can see the another type of modification which will occur in the premier RNA, which is known as splicing. So the phenomena, as I told, the phenomena of RNA splicing was traced out by a scientist called as Robert Sharp, and he awarded the Nobel Prize for this RNA splicing. So what will happen in this splicing? So in splicing, the non-coding sequence of the mRNA, which is also known as what? Introns. You can see this. These introns are removed from the mRNA transcripts. The coding sequence which is called as exon. You can see this, the coding sequence that is called as exon are what they will do? This exon unite. So this exon will be united at a definite order to form a what? Mature RNA. To form a mature RNA. So this non-coding sequence are removed by an enzyme called as spliceosome, and the coding sequence on the exon are attached. You can see this, the coding sequence of exon are attached to form the mature mRNA. Now this mature mRNA will get released from the nucleus into the cytoplasm and ready for the translation process, in which it will start forming a protein molecule. So this is how the transcription is done in the eukaryotes. So hope you got to understand this transcription in both the prokaryotes as well as the eukaryote is very important for your exam. Now moving on to the another important concept, that is the translation. Now moving on to the another important concept, that is translation. So please refer the notes and the textbook for the diagram, right? So it is in page number 115 and 114. So the tRNA, the adapted molecule, and you can see the translation diagram. So you can see here the amino acid sequence. Here, see that this amino acid sequence are arranged in a specific order, the specific sequence. Here you can see that clover leaf model. You can see this clover leaf model of tRNA. So the tRNA picks up the one amino acids. So it is just like a bus picking up the passengers and leaving them to the destination, and afterwards what they will do, the empty bus which will go back to the depot. In similar way, here the each tRNA will carry the each amino acid and gives to the rRNA, from rRNA to the ribosome. Then back to the tRNA will come back to the cytoplasmic pool, become entry. So this is how they are arranged. So this whole process we call as what? Translation. So this messenger RNA, which will carry the coded messages for the synthesis of protein, will be released into the cytoplasm with the help of mRNA transcription, that is mRNA translation. So this which will the translation which will occurs in the 4 steps, that is activation of amino acid, initiation of polypeptide chain, elongation of the polypeptide chain, and the termination of the polypeptide chain. So what are the 4 important steps which is involved in the translation? Activation of amino acids, initiation of polypeptide chain, elongation, and the termination. Now let us see what are all these steps all about. So first one is activation of amino acids. So as I said, in the cytoplasmic pool, the amino acids will be in a inactivated state. So they will be activated and then picked up by the tRNA, and that process is called as activation of amino acid. So here you can see that the very word which will tell you that the amino acid which are found in the inactivated states are activated, and then only the activated amino acids will pick up the tRNA molecule. So what is this activation of amino acids? It is a process in which the amino acids combines with the ATP in the presence of amino acyl synthetase, and which will form the amino acyl AMP complex. Then only it is called as activated amino acids. So when it will be called as activated amino acids? When the process in which the amino acids combines with the ATP in the presence of amino acyl synthetase, and which will form the amino acyl AMP complex, right? Then only we can say that activated amino acids. So then what will happen? The activated amino acid will be picked up by a specific tRNA molecule, and for amino acyl tRNA complex, this process is called as charging of tRNA. Right. So as I said, there are 20 amino acid molecules. Then what it means? It is also have a 20 tRNA. So each carrying one amino acid. The tRNA will carry the one amino acids. Right. So the activated amino acids which will pick up the specific tRNA molecule or for amino acid tRNA complex, and this process is called as charging of tRNA. So this is how the tRNA will attack the particular amino acid, hence it is called as what? Adapter RNA. Right. So the activated amino acids will be picked up by a specific tRNA molecule and for amino acid tRNA complex, and that process we call as charging of tRNA. Next step is initiation of, that is the steps which is there done in the activation of amino acids. Moving on to the next step, the initiation of polypeptide chain. So during this process, the mRNA which will attach to the smaller ribosomal subunit. So then at RNA carrying the amino acid, that is methnion, attached to the what? Initiator codon, that is AUG. That is AUG. As I said, for any protein molecule, for any type of protein molecule, always the start or the beginner codon. The beginner will be always the methnion, which is having a triplet codon called as AUG. So it is a triplet codon coding for the amino acids which is called as methnion, and always this is called as a starter or the starter amino acids. So any protein molecules begins with this, which is nothing but as methnion. So this so this is how the starter, the triplet codon which will code for the amino acid, which is called as what? Methnion. During this process, the mRNA which will attach to the smaller ribosomal subunit, and then the tRNA which will carrying the another amino acid methnion which will attach the initiator codon, that is AUG of mRNA at a P site. At a P site, which will code at a particular point. That site we call as P site. So P site means what? That is peptide synthetase site. It is a peptidal synthetase site. Now a larger ribosomal subunits which will attach to the mRNA. So as you know, ribosome are of two units, that is larger subunit and the smaller subunit. So now the largest subunit, that a ribosomal subunit which will attach to the mRNA, which will result in the formation of initiation complex, and the initiation needs ATP and the proteins which is called as initiation factor called as IFS. Initiation factor called as IFS. So they so these IFS, that is the initiation factor, through this they will make the long chain, that is it will make the chain long, that is the initiation of the polypeptide chain. So an mRNA also has some additional sequence that are not translated, and they are referred to as in translated region, that is UTRI, UTRS. Referred to us as in translated region, that is UTRS. So this UTRS are present at the both 5 end, that is before starting codon, and the 3 stand end, that is the after stop codon. They are required for efficient translation process. So this is all about the initiation of polypeptide chain, right? Moving on to the next step, that is elongation of polypeptide chain. So as soon as the sliding ribosomal subunit is arrived at one of the terminator codon, that is UGA. So you can see here there are 3 terminator codon, that is UGA, UAA and UAG. So which is also called as what? Nonsense codon. So what do you mean by nonsense codon? The codons which makes no sense. That means they are not coding for any amino acid. So it is like goes like a whole protein synthesis stop. If it goes like the whole protein synthesis is going to be stop. So like for example that is AUG goes, if it is AUG goes, it will starts. So the protein synthesis will start, that is UAA, that is UGA, and the UAA comes means the whole process will be stopped. So the protein synthesis stop with the association of releasing factor to the larger subunit of the ribosome. So the initiation factor and the releasing factor. So right, that is how the which will be done in the elongation of the polypeptide chain. So next is next comes what, that is that is the what, chain termination. So all the components of the protein machinery gets dismantled and the proteins is released freely in the cytoplasm. This is called as chain termination. So you can see that this one, a textbook for the formation of the polypeptide chain which is released into the cytoplasm. That is the tRNA with the amino acid which will attach, and how the protein molecule will be formed. So later on it is get dispersed. There are the steps which is involved in this. These are the steps which is involved in the process of translation. So hope you got to understand what is this translation. Now moving on to the next very important concept, that is gene expression. Next is the gene expression. A scientist called as Jacob and the Monod in 1966. So in 1966, they proposed the operand concept to explain the regulation of gene expression at the transcriptional level. So before that, we will discuss about the gene. Right from the beginning of this lesson, we are talking about a very important word called gene. So what is gene then? A gene is a unit of a DNA that produces the polypeptide chain, that is a protein, and has the properties like definite function, replication, recombination in the mutation. See how wonderful the DNA, that is this gene is defined. So what is gene? Gene is nothing but the unit of DNA that produces the polypeptide chain and has a properties like they like a definite function, replication, recombination, and the mutation. As I said, the proteins are the building blocks of an organism in which it is made up of the water. That is direction which is given by the DNA to the mRNA. So, but you think all the proteins required cell by every time? No. So, some protein are required by the cell, then it is synthesized. When the proteins are not required by the cell, then it is not synthesized. So, there is a regulation or there is a control of making of these proteins in the cell, so that the whole process or the mechanism which is called as regulation of gene expression. So, which also called as operon concept. So, whenever we want, there is a control in the regulation for the synthesis of the protein. So, whenever it is required, it is synthesized. Whenever it is not required, it is not synthesized. So, it is just like a switch off and switch on mechanism. Same way as I said in the beginning, like if you want to switch off the light, you can switch on. So, if you don't want to switch on the light, you can switch off. So, that is the light is going to on and off, right? Same mechanism. So, whenever we don't want the protein, the whole mechanism is switched off. So, whenever the cell require the protein, the whole mechanism is switched on. So, the whole process is explained in the mechanism called as regulation of gene expression. And this operon concept was proposed by Jacob and the Monod. Sorry, 1961. In 1961, the person called as Jacob and Monod, who proposed the mechanism called as operon model to explain the regulation of gene action in the E. coli. So, an operon of the an operon is a part of the genetic material or the DNA which will act as a regulated unit which will having a one or more structural gene, an operator gene or the promoter gene or the regulator gene. So as I told, this was proposed by Jacob and Monod. So how do we define the word called operon? Operon is a group of what? So cistronic genes which is consist of structural gene, operator gene, promoter gene. So it consists of what? A structural gene, operator gene and the promoter gene. So now let us see what are all those things: structural gene, operator gene and the promoter gene. So this structural gene, first is the structural gene. Repeat this gene regulation. So what is this regulation of gene expression? Gene expression is the refers to the ability of the gene to express the phenotype of an organism in the formation of polypeptide. So as I told, it is the mechanism of whenever we don't want the protein, the whole mechanism is switched off. Whenever it is required, the protein, the whole mechanism is switched on. So this whole process was explained by that process we call as gene regulation of gene expression. And this operon concept, which is also called as operon concept, which is proposed by Jacob and Monod in 1961. So how you define this word called operon? It is a operon. It is a consist of what? A structural gene, operator gene and the promoter gene. Now let us understand what is this structural gene, operator gene and the promoter gene. So the structural gene, first is the what? Structural gene. What is the structural gene? These are the gene which will synthesize mRNA. Which will synthesize what? Which will synthesize the mRNA, which in turn it is also synthesized, which in turn it is synthesized the polypeptide or the enzyme. So an operon has a one or more structural genes. So this operon have a one or more structural genes, and each structural gene of operon is called as what? Cistron. So that each structural gene of operon we called as what? Cistron. So this lac operon concept, this is the lac operon of a E. coli, that is Escherichia E. coli, which will consist of three structural genes, namely Z, Y and A, which consist of a three structural gene, that is Z, Y and A. They are transcribed the polycistronic mRNA, which will transcribe the polycistronic mRNA. Next is the operator gene. So operator gene is the gene of the operon which will directly controls the synthesis of mRNA and the enzyme over the structural gene. So it will controls the synthesis of mRNA and the enzyme over the structural gene. So and it is lies to the adjacent to the structure which will lies in the adjacent to the structural gene. So it is the, as I will show in your textbook. I'll write the diagram once this explanation is done. So you can see here. So this is the structural gene which will lies which will lies adjacent to the what? Adjacent to the this operator gene which is lie adjacent to this structural gene. So it is switched off by the presence of the repressor. So by the presence of this repressor, it is switched off. So only at the specific repressor which will binds to the operator. So the specific repressor which is going to bind the what? Operator. So next is the promoter gene. So it is also gene of a operator.